Exodus chapter 39. The workers made clothes from the blue, purple, and bright red yarn. The clothes were worn by the priests who served in the holy tent. The workers also made sacred clothes for Aaron. They made them just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The workers made a linen apron. They made it out of thin gold wire and a blue, purple, and bright red yarn and of the finely twisted linen. They hammered out thin sheets of gold. They cut it into thin wire. Then they sewed it into the blue, purple, and bright red yarn and fine linen. Skilled workers made it. The workers made the shoulder straps for the apron. The straps were joined to two of each corners. Each skillfully made waistband was made like the apron. The waistband was part of the apron itself. It was made out of thin gold wire and out of blue, purple, and bright red yarn and out of finely twisted linen. The workers made it just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They put the onyx stones in fancy gold settings. They carved the names of the sons of Israel on the stones. They did it the way a jewel cutter would carve them. Then they connected them to the shoulder straps of the linen apron. The stones stood for the sons of Israel and were a constant reminder for them. The workers did those things just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Skilled workers made the chest cloth. They made it like the linen apron. They used thin gold wire and blue, purple, and bright red yarn and finely twisted linen. The chest cloth was 9 inches square. It was folded in half. The workers put 4 rows of valuable jewels on it. Carnelian, chrysolite, and beryl were in the first row. Turquoise, rhapsody, lapsuli, and emerald were in the second row. Jacinth, agate, and amethyst were in the third row, and topaz, onyx, and jasper were in the fourth row. The workers put them in fancy gold settings. They used a total of 12 stones. There was 1 stone for each of the names of the sons of Israel. Each stone was carved with the name of one of the 12 tribes. The workers made braided chains out of pure gold for the chest clothes. They made them like ropes. They made 2 fancy gold settings and 2 gold rings. They connected them to 2 corners of the chest cloth. They joined the 2 gold chains to the rings at the corners of the chest cloth. They joined the other ends of the chains of the 2 settings. They joined them to the shoulder straps on the front of the linen apron. The workers made 2 gold rings. They connected them to the other 2 corners of the chest cloth. They put them on the inside edge next to the apron. And then they made 2 more gold rings. They connected them to the bottom of the shoulder straps on the front of the apron. They put them close to the seam. They put them right above the waistband of the apron. They tied the rings of the chest close to the rings of the apron with blue cord. They connected it to the waistband. Then the chest clothes would not swing out from the linen apron. The workers did those things just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The workers made the outer robe of the linen apron completely out of the blue cloth. The cloth was made by a skillful person. The workers made an opening in the center of the robe. They made an edge like a collar around the opening, and then it couldn't tear. They made pomegranates out of blue, purple, and bright red yarn and finally twisted linen. They sewed them around the hem of the robe. They made bells out of pure gold. They sewed them around the hem between the pomegranates. They sewed a belt between every 2 pomegranates all around the hem of the robe. Aaron had to wear the robe when he served as priest. That's what the Lord commanded Moses. The workers made the inner robes out of fine linen for Aaron and his sons. The linen clothes was made by a skillful person. The workers also made a turban out of the fine linen, and they made the caps and the underwear out of the finely twisted linen. The belt was made out of finely twisted linen and blue, purple, and bright red yarn. A person who sewed skillfully made it. The workers did those things just as the Lord has commanded Moses. They made a plate out of the pure gold. It was sacred crown. On the plate they carved the words, "Set apart for the Lord." Then they tied the plate to the turban with a blue cord. They did those things just as the Lord had commanded Moses. So all the work on the holy tent, the tent of meeting, was completed. The Israelites did everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then they brought the holy tent to Moses, along with everything that belonged to it. Here are the things they brought: hooks, frames, crossbars, posts, and bases, the covering of ram skins dyed red, the covering of another kind of strong leather, and the curtain that hides the ark. The ark where the tablets of the covenant law are kept, the pours, and the cover for the ark, the table for the holy bread with all its things and the holy bread, the pure gold lampstand with its row of rams and everything used with it, and the olive oil that gives light, the gold altar for burning incense, the anointing oil, and the sweet-smelling incense, the curtain for the entrance to the tent, the bronze altar for burnt offerings with its bronze grate, its pours and all its tools, the large board with its stand, the curtains of the courtyard with their posts and bases, and the curtain for the entrance to the courtyard, the ropes and tent stakes for the courtyard, everything that belonged to the holy tent, the tent of meeting, and the sacred clothes for Aaron the priest, and the clothes for his sons when they served as priests. The Israelites had done all the work just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moses looked over the work carefully. He saw that the workers had done it just as the Lord had commanded. So Moses gave them his blessing. Exodus chapter 40. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Set up the holy tent, the tent of meeting. Set it up the first day of the first month. Place in it the ark where the tablets of the covenant law are kept. Hide the ark with the curtain. Bring in the table for the holy bread. Arrange the loaves of bread on it. Then bring in the lampstand. Set up its lamps. Place the gold altar for burning incense in front of the ark, where the tablets of the covenant law are kept. Put up the curtain at the entrance to the holy tent. Place the altar for burnt offering in front of the entrance to the holy tent, the tent of meeting. Place the large board between the tent of meeting and the altar. Put water in the board. Set up the courtyard around the holy tent. Put the curtain at the entrance to the courtyard. Get the anointing oil. Anoint the holy tent and everything in it. Set apart the holy tent and everything that belongs to it. Then it will be holy. Anoint the altar for burnt offerings and in all its tools. Set apart the altar. Then it will be a very holy place. Anoint the large board and its stand. Set them apart. Bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance to the tent of meeting. Wash them with water. Dress Aaron in sacred clothes. Anoint him and set him apart. Then he will be able to serve me as priest. Bring his sons and dress them in their inner robes. Anoint them just as you anointed their father. Then they will be able to serve me as priests. They will be anointed to do the work of priests. Their work will last for all time to come. Moses did everything just as the Lord had commanded him. So the holy tent was set up. It was the first day of the first month in the second year. Moses set up the holy tent. He put the bases in place. He put the frames in them. He put in the crossbars. He set up the post. He spread the holy tent over the frames. Then he put the coverings over the tent. Moses did this as the Lord had commanded him. He got the tablets of the covenant law. He placed them in the ark. He put the pours through its rings, and he put the cover on it. The cover was the place where a sin is paid for. Moses brought the ark into the holy tent. He hung the curtain to hide the ark where the tablets of the covenant law are kept. Moses did it as the Lord had commanded him. Moses placed the table for the holy bread in the tent of meeting. It was on the north side of the holy tent outside the curtain. He arranged the loaves of bread on it in the sight of the Lord. Moses did it as the Lord had commanded him. Moses placed the lampstand in the tent of meeting. It stood across from the table on the south side of the holy tent. He set up the lamps in front of the Lord. Moses did as the Lord had commanded him. Moses placed a gold altar for burning incense in the tent of meeting. He placed it in front of the curtain. He burned sweet-smelling incense on it. Moses did it as the Lord had commanded him. Then Moses put up the curtain at the entrance to the holy tent. He set the altar for burnt offerings near the entrance to the holy tent, the tent of meeting. He sacrificed burnt offering and grain offering on it. Moses did it as the Lord had commanded him. Moses placed a large board between the tent of meeting and the altar. He put water in the board for washing. Moses and Aaron and his sons used it to wash their hands and feet. They washed whenever they entered the tent of meeting or approached the altar. They did it as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then Moses set up the courtyard around the holy tent and the altar. He put up the curtain at the entrance to the courtyard, and so Moses completed the work. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting. The glory of the Lord filled the holy tent. Moses couldn't enter the tent of meeting because the cloud had settled on it. The glory of the Lord filled the holy tent. The Israelites continued their traverse. Whenever the cloud lifted from above the holy tent, they started out. But if the cloud didn't lift, they did not start out. They stayed until the day it lifted. So the cloud of the Lord was above the holy tent during the day. Fire was in the cloud at night. All the Israelites could see the cloud during all their traverse.